Well, hi, thank you so much for joining me in my shop today. Today is June 7th, and I can't carry on without talking about the smoke here a little bit. There's something like 400 forest fires burning in Canada. Many of them are far, far away from me, thousands of kilometers, but others are only a few hundred kilometers away. In Quebec mainly. There's some here in my province of Ontario too. But what is here is the smoke. The smoke from these fires is so significant that even though they're hundreds of miles away, if I go outside I can smell the smoke. I look up in the sky, and instead of it being blue, it's kind of a whitish gray color. Very, very uniform color. Doesn't look like clouds, but kind of looks like clouds at the same time. But it doesn't look like clouds. The sun came up this morning like it always does over Lake Couchiching, shining into our house. And instead of, red at the horizon, and then a little bit orange, and then a little bit yellow, and then finally it's just really bright. It's just red all the way up. The light all around our property was kind of a pinkish color, even though the sun was up, well above the horizon. So that's the situation here, and I shouldn't complain. Other areas of Canada are on fire to begin with. People are being put out of their homes. Homes are being destroyed. I mean, there's that aspect of it, and then I shouldn't really complain here about a little bit of smoke smell, but that's what's happening. And it's early in the summer, and it hasn't rained. There's no rain in the forecast for my area anyway, and probably much of the area where these fires are. And sometimes rain doesn't help, because rain comes with thunderstorms, it comes with lightning, and it sets off these fires. So we need a real heavy rain to knock them down. Well, anyway, okay, back to this radio now. So what I think I'm going to do, because I'm not too sure how to approach this exactly, is just do some stuff and see how the radio responds and try to get a feel for how well it's operating. At this point I've hooked up an antenna. It seemed to be receiving, but it didn't receive any radio signals. So I'm not sure what that's all about. So I've got my signal generator here going. Right, we just move it up to, let's say, 620, something like that. That's the bottom end of the AM band. So another issue I have with this radio is I don't know which band is which here, which way you throw the switch to get what band. So we can find out by using the signal generator, I'm pretty sure. I think what's going to happen is the signal from the signal generator is going to go right through the radio and come out the speaker. We're going to hear it. But it's going to be weak. I'm going to have to pound a heavy signal into the radio to make it operate. That's what I think is going to happen. And then we can check the other band. You know what? Come to think of it, I think I remember now. If you set it this way, you're turning on the phono input. So that's got to be. So this is probably AM. Let's start here. This is probably the AM band, and we'll tune it. We'll tune it with a bit of help here, down around where the signal generator is set. 620. Okay. Let's turn it on. There we go. Now yesterday I took some voltage readings, and I was getting low voltage readings in a number of tube pins. I'm kind of curious about that, and I commented I probably had the ground lead in the wrong spot. I had picked the bottom of this capacitor, probably the wrong spot. So this time I'm putting the ground leads right on the chassis. I'm not using a voltmeter, I'm using a signal generator. But the deal with this is once I put one ground on, any other equipment ground has to go to the same point, the same electrical point. Okay, radio's making some sound. Volume's up very high. There's no antenna attached at all. So why am I doing that? Okay, so we're going to connect up the signal generator here. First I'm going to turn down the level way down like that. Okay, we're going to do a little calibration thing here. It's good. Putting out 1,000 hertz tone. And I'm going to connect it to the antenna. I'm going to just, the antenna terminal sticking out the back, but I'm going to get at it from underneath here. little click there on the radio. Didn't quite match what I was doing there. Okay, so volume's up full. The radio, I'm guessing, is tuned to around 650. So I'm going to swing the frequency up and down here and see if we hear anything. Nothing. It was a pretty low level. We'll just keep going up. Okay, so this next setting is really strong. This kind of output strength is usually too much for most radios. It can't handle it. Let's see what happens here. Ah, look at that. There it is. 660. That's roughly where the dial is set. So we're getting a very, very weak signal. Very weak. Now, does it travel a distance into the radio before it becomes weak? Or is it not really even getting in there properly? Let's swing this around. As this radio has tubes with grid caps, it's easy to access the grids. Look how sensitive that is. Everywhere. This tube. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is listen to the signal. Let me turn this down a little bit here. We're going to try to listen to the signal as it progresses through the radio. And of course, as it's going, the signal is being amplified and getting stronger. So it should be weak at the start and strong as we go. Well, I try using this guy here to do this. So we're going to be listening to the actual radio signal. So I'm going to want this flipped that way. And we're going to want to be on band B. Now this is basically a radio receiver at this point. We're going to want to be down around 650. There we are. Up comes the ground lead. We're going to want to put that in the same place as the other ground. Just on the chassis. See, I'm scared cat. Scaredy cat. Okay. And this is the input. Why? There we are. Okay. So this is an interesting kind of radio. This is not a radio with an intermediate frequency stage. This is what's called a tuned RF radio. So it's an interesting. Okay, so we'll get it close to the output of the signal generator. See if we can hear it. Not like this, we can't. Okay, we're going to put it right on the signal generator. There it is. Now, maybe you can see the magic eye here. I'm going to set this control so the eye is just closing. Okay, so in a sense, that's calibrated. If we take a reading somewhere and the eye just closes, we know we're on the same signal strength as what is coming out of the signal generator, which we will now attempt the grid cap. So the first grid cap here should pretty much be the same, I think. Hello. What did I do here? Well, there's nothing making it into this radio. Turn this one down. So what you're hearing is my signal generator. signal, my signal, yeah, you know what it is. 661. Not a thing. That's hard to believe. Not a thing. Okay, let me make sure this is tuned right. Just have to get close. That's how much signal is coming out of the signal generator. If you think you could close anywhere, you'd hear it again. We'll tune the main radio. Not a thing. And you might wonder, well, how come you can hear something coming out of the speaker? You can't hear it here. Well, this guy is a powerful amplifier. The radio is a powerful amplifier. So it's able to take the weak signal and make something come out of the speaker. My signal tracer's not doing so well. Let's go a little further. Let's just not blow our ears off here. Now, so I think I should be listening for the IF signal here. So we're going to retune this radio. I'm going to set it to band A, bring it up around 450, 455. This is the IF frequency I've tuned this guy to. And that's what should appear here. So that's a pretty weak signal. I got this guy turned up fairly high. So very weak signal there. So it's very weak. Now we know the tubes are good. So it would really come down to some kind of component problem, or I've hooked up the signal generator incorrectly, or there's something weird going on. The smoke is causing problems. Which I doubt. You notice I smartened up. Thank you, viewer. One of you sends me emails whenever I'm being particularly stupid, and you just mentioned that, you know, I put a hole in the speaker already and I still hadn't covered it. So okay, so it's covered now. So I won't put another hole in it, hopefully. Okay, what to try next then? I still don't have the schematic, and well, we could inject the signal further up in the radio and find out what would happen. We could inject the signal, for instance, into here. And it wouldn't be this kind of regular radio signal. Let me just tip this up a bit. You can see the frequency here. We would set this to 455. 450. There, look at that. So what's happening right now is the IF signal. It's coming out of this. The IF frequency of 455, well, 463 in fact, kilohertz. It's fed into the antenna. It's working its way in through the IF, working its way through the front end of the radio, getting to the IF, and then coming out the speaker. Doesn't sound very good at all, though. Maybe it should produce a nice pure tone, but it's not at all a pure tone. In fact, it has I think the characteristic sound we're hearing is called intermodulation distortion. Not sure of that. Kind of a warbly, or like a low frequency sound impressed on a higher frequency sound. So you hear the higher whistle, but you can tell there's something. That's my finger going at 60 cycles there. That's what this kind of sounds like to me. Okay, so I said I was going to stick a signal into it. Let's disconnect here. Okay. Now we're going to reduce this signal strength a long ways. We'll put it there. On a microvolt, looking at this as a microvolt thing, it's 100 times 10 microvolts. So it's 1,000 microvolts. 1 millivolt is what theoretically is on the end of these leads. But, you know, it I wouldn't bank on it being exactly that amount. Now we need a good ground spot here to hook up to. Just going to go on the chassis. We're going to try to inject the signal first into the grid of this tube, which is a little like putting it into the antenna. Okay, it's then running through this transformer and coming to this tube. Oh, what's going on there? I think the tube is loose in the socket. Oh, wait, why when I clip it on does everything go, but if I hold it on, get that, I don't know, if I can get it, it's just bad connection, I guess. Okay, let's clip it on. Turn it up. It's a low impedance supply, if you like. So I've hooked up pretty much a short circuit onto the grid cap here, but I'm still feeding a fairly strong, a moderate signal coming out of here. So now that sounds pretty good, actually. Funny business in the volume control. Let's turn this up a little bit. Here. Okay, now we're hitting it with a much stronger signal. That went up about 10 times divided by 2, so that's about 5 times the signal there. So listen to it. It's not clear. It's not a beautifully clear tone. Volume's full to get this to work, but you know, I don't know if I'm feeding, you know, I don't know the relativity of the level of signal I'm sending in versus the volume we would expect. My guess would be this radio should be screaming. Instead, it's barely producing anything. We're all the way into here now. So, to go much further, I really do need a schematic. I've got to figure out what these two tubes are doing here. Two 6C5s. One of them is possibly the oscillator tube, but it's not in the right location. In many radios, the oscillation, the local oscillator and the amplifier tube are the same tube, usually in the front of the radio, but in some radios they separate out the oscillator tube, and often I think it can be a 6C5 is a common choice. There's two of them in here, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. But I think, you know, we're really proving the radio to be extremely weak. I need the schematic. I gotta get a schematic. Let's put that antenna back on. Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta put a really good antenna on it. I've got a loop antenna here. We can hook up. I think I can do it pretty quick here. Let's just see. Okay, this is the lead. So I have a loop antenna I built when I was in college out of just what I had. A broomstick I cut in two, and whatever wire I had. And I just wired up a loop antenna. It's absolutely irrational in terms of, you know, the dimensions of it. But it actually works pretty good. It's a tuned antenna. And it's quite directional too. So let me just settle this down. Okay, what was I just doing? I was just fixing this so it won't fall. Okay, we're going to put this on the antenna. Now, there's two leads here. You have to hook up both leads. There has to be a ground and a actual supply lead. So I will You know what? I never actually moved this band knob. I think we'd be pretty sure it's in the AM band. It would be quite a coincidence that it's set to shortwave, but it picked up the AM signal at the right spot on the dial. The antenna that I have, which I will now show you, comes this way. Here it is. Okay, so I know from experience it has to be angled this way to pick up the stronger stations that are available. This is basically 2 loops of wire. One here, about 5 turns, and one here, a single turn. The single turn is connected to the antenna. The tuning capacitors here are connected to the multiple turns. So I tune this loop of 5 turns, get it resonating, I guess would be a good word for it. And then some of the energy will find its way into this pickup wire, which is then attached essentially to the radio. So, and we are attached to the radio, and we are tuned around where I know a station is, 590. Why so much garbling? What have I done here? I don't know. Why so garbly? Is it tuned again? Is it tuned? I don't remember being that garbly. Okay, let's see what we can get out of this antenna. Nothing. Okay, nothing. It's a little bit tricky. I'm going to pick up a station. I need to know the radio is tuned to a station. So we're going to tune the radio to 590 with this guy here, because we know we can pick them up if we crank it up. So we'll set this to 590. Feed in this signal. Take off the loop antenna. Feed in this guy. Okay, volume up. 590. What gives here? How come it's not doing the thing? What am I doing here then? What am I not getting? Did I turn this? Oh! That whole thing about what band is what? I think I got it wrong. I must have got it wrong. Okay, well that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Had this set to shortwave, found it in an AM signal, and able to pick it up roughly where it should be picked up. Isn't that? That's really kind of weird. Okay, surprise, surprise. So it's shortwave, AM, phono. And we have the radio now tuned to 590. So if I can get 590, and this is helpful, I've got it actually turned to AM. Okay, that's good. You know what? The volume was hardly turned up. Totally different picture now. Now we're looking at a radio that seems to have some sensitivity. Okay. Let's put on the antenna. Now you can really hear that garble I was talking about in his voice. It sounds like he's got marbles in his mouth. It's worse than that. That's probably this. Well, don't know what that is. Not much volume applied. Terrible hum. Terrible garbling sound. Let's see if we can get the antenna tuned up a little better.
Looking at what you stuff for all this different stuff that they would add to their group, and I say, well, where are they getting this from? Like, what? Because, yeah, I think, you know this prospect, this farm system better than I do, but, like, I don't know what Araldus Martinez's value is anymore. Seems like it's diminished quite a bit, and this was a guy who was already a polarizing prospect.
Well, we're way ahead now. So that antenna can only produce a signal of the level that antennas produce. There's nothing special coming out of it, although it usually produces a strong signal with very low noise, which is why you like a loop antenna. Plus, they're very directional, as I showed you. Wow, here we are.
Kind of ultimate thing. This is where a lot of this is leading. If they don't, if they stay at this 89 wing pace and they're sort of just kind of fighting around it.
So,
do you think that they would even entertain the idea? We're 2 months away from this. This is why it's kind of foolish to even be bringing it up. And I know, I get it. But do you think that this group would even entertain the idea?
Okay,
to take a step forward?
Let's do this. Still exploring the radio's operation. What happens on the short wave band? Let's go back to the signal generator, because my antenna here is only good for AM radio. It doesn't go up high enough to be used on short wave. So hook up the signal generator again. Turn that down. Okay, signal generator is connected to the antenna input. We're on short wave now. Ooh, listen to that. Doesn't sound very good, does it? So we'll put it at 7 megahertz, and we'll set this guy to 7 megahertz here. It's a low signal. Didn't hear it. Didn't hear it. Didn't hear it. Okay, got a little wondering now what's going on. Okay, way up, way down. Not a thing. No. Whoop. Did I just win something? Okay. So that was a call to action. I have to stop here for a moment. Okay, let's carry on here. No reception. You dirty band switch. You dirty band switch. Okay. I couldn't have it totally wrong. This would be phono. I thought the radio went quiet when I put it on phono before. It's definitely on 7 megahertz. Nothing at all. It's odd that this would work fairly well on broadcast and then be not there on shortwave. That's a little odd. What to try now? I mean, I can tune it way up here. What's happening with that hum? Where's that hum going up? That's interesting. Now, something's happening here slowly. So when I turn this into the hum range, you'll see the hum comes up slowly afterwards. Takes a couple of seconds. A little more noticeable this way. That rate of change, that's about like this kind of speed, that suggests something going on with the AVC, automatic volume control, that it's being activated in some way. So it could be I don't know. Yeah, it could be I don't know. That's probably what it is. Quite often I find these radios are something going on with them, which I don't know. Okay, so I've tuned this up to 15. Right at 15 now. It's like a hysteresis thing going on. Put on 15. I'm pretty hopeless about this. It's now 9:43. 15, right by it. Calibration check. Okay, calibration's way low. I got no output here. Hey, signal generator, what's your problem? The beeping will stop in a moment. That's better. You know what? I may have had no output coming from this. The whole time. I may have had no output. Okay, so let's try this again. So we're at 15. We're at 15. Got output this time. Things connected. Volume's up. Bet you we'll hear it this time. How much did I bet? I didn't bet much. Probably just like the last time. Full blast and we'll hear it. It's a good thing I didn't bet. Calibration check here. Yeah. So now I'm sure there's a signal coming into the antenna of the radio. And it's getting nothing. Now it's silent. Well, because I turned it down. No? Why so different suddenly? Well, wasn't it kind of humming in this area? Oh! Hot diggity dog. Something happened there. Something I did do here. I floated one of the transformers. It's just hanging off the back now. It used to be that it was bolted down. The frame was connected to the chassis. Frame of the transformer was connected to the chassis. It's not now, so I'm going to connect it with just the clip lead. There we go. And it made no difference. I'm not surprised. Okay, I think that's it for the observations for today. Certainly we can go forward a little bit. We have an AM radio that's working. I don't like to work on radios that are really bad. I like to get them working to any degree, so something on the antenna comes out the speaker, then I'm way more comfortable to start working on them. And we're kind of there with the AM band, but we're not there with the shortwave band. Okay, yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to go out and enjoy the smoke. Actually, today is antenna day for me. I'll be working on my ham radio high frequency antenna, HF antenna outside. Great, thanks a lot for watching, and well, we'll just take it one step at a time. See ya.